is doing after he grabs an eel for lunch. 8. Otter versus snake. The otter in this video is attacked by a nasty and dangerous anaconda, but the otter uses his extraordinary reflexes, a feature that otters possess and employ when they are in dangerous waters and regularly confronted by predators such as this massive snake. A lone otter plays with a dog-faced snake in a mangrove swamp in this video. The otter's attempt to capture the snake in a cat-and-mouse game is entertaining to watch, but the otter does not bite the snake to kill it immediately away. It basically nibbles on it and then lets it swim away for a while. The otter comes up to the snake and scoops it up again just as it thinks it's getting away. If you ask me, it's a harsh game, but I suppose that's how otters deal with snakes when they get tangled up in them. The otter will occasionally submerge in search of the snake, which it finally finds and eats. An otter at a zoo is fed what looks like a snake or an eel, but whatever it is doesn't really matter, because the otter grabs the creature and kills it before ripping it apart. This otter appears to be enjoying himself with this snake. The snake is tiny, so it's just a quick snack for the otter, but I'm sure he will find more of the same where this one came from. 7. Otter versus clamshell. Because their metabolism is 2 or 3 times the rate of other mammals their size, sea otters need to eat about 25% of their weight every day. Each arm of a sea otter is fitted with a pocket, tools, leftovers, and in this otter's case, a pocket full of clams can all be stored in these useful storage pouches. At Fisherman's Wharf in Monterey, CA, a sea otter was sighted enjoying his dinner of mussels. See what tool he uses to crack mussels open. Otters are indeed very smart. They will take a rock to the surface only if they need it to open tough shells like clams. And they will turn over and dump the rock as soon as they are done. This one actually got 2 clams and 1 dot. Any culinary otter will tell you that the most important piece of kitchen tech every otter must have in his kitchen is a rock. These marine mammals have figured out how to craft their cuisine so they can eat delicious clams. Otters will dive underwater for as long as 2 minutes, returning with food and a suitable amble, usually a rock. Then they will lay comfortably on their back and enjoy their snack. 6. Otter eating frog. The otter in this video walks through a sewer system and manages to snatch a frog. It's safe to say that the frog didn't last long in the otter's grip. The same otter can be seen eating the frog up close as his face is right in front of the camera's lens. It's clear that this otter loves to eat frogs' legs. A North American otter surveys this pond for something interesting and finds a frog which it snacks on. Frogs are vulnerable creatures unless they're venomous or poisonous, but I guess it isn't the case with this frog. A North American otter surveyed this semi-frozen pond for something interesting and found a frog trying to escape. But it didn't go very far, as the otter snatched the frog and snacked on it. Standing up high and noticing an otter looking for food, the person filming had a nice overhead view of all the action, as the otter was caught eating a frog in some sort of cascade. 5. Otter versus crabs. While the man recording this video was walking down a jetty in Monterey, he spotted a sea otter with a big crab in his grasp, enjoying an early morning breakfast. You must admit this otter has style, lying on his back, eating crab as if he was on vacation at a luxurious beach resort. Did you know that sea otters need to eat around 25% of their body weight each day? That equals to roughly 15 to 20 pounds of food daily. In the wild, sea otters eat sea urchins, abalone, mussels, about 40 other marine species, but they usually specialize in 2 to 4 kinds of prey. Without sea otters, sea urchins would devour the kelp forests off the coast, which provide critical cover and food for many other marine animals. Another otter enjoys room service as he floats on his back while enjoying delicious crab meat. He crushes the shell of the crab and rips out the tender meat without thinking twice. Small crabs, big crabs, and even king crabs. It doesn't matter which kind of crab. If the otter finds it, it will find a way to eat it. 4. Otter hunting crayfish. When this otter went out for an early morning hunt, he He immediately spotted a tasty crayfish and grabbed it without hesitating, crushing and crunching it in seconds. In the middle of winter, this otter lies at the bottom of a hill, on the riverbank, lunching on crayfish. The cold doesn't bother him, and the crayfish is too tasty to let go. This little guy is fishing for crayfish, and he's good at it. He sticks his head out of the water to chew on the crayfish and will head back underwater to find more. After swimming out on the lake for a couple of hours, this female otter finally managed to snatch not one, but 2 crayfish, one after the other for a late lunch. It was well deserved after waiting for so long to make her first catch of the day. 3. Otter versus monitor lizard. A huge monitor lizard is being followed by an otter in the water. But as soon as the lizard exits the water, the otter forgets about him and leaves. Even though otters are tough, this lizard was quite big, so I'm not sure if the otter could have handled him one-on-one. When they spy on a monitor lizard, these otters come looking for food. The instant they approach the reptile, he swings his tail to protect himself, scaring the otters away for a brief while. But otters don't give up easily, so they return to try and see if they can defeat the lizard. However, this is not the case, as the reptile maintains its distance from the otters. Another monitor lizard struggles to keep his distance from a couple of otters as they try to find a way to get to it. But their chances of success decrease dramatically when he gets out of the water, even though some of the otters actually step out of the water to greet him on land. Another lizard avoids the fury of hungry otters by stepping out of the water before being attacked. Perhaps the otters were hesitant to attack the reptile because they were only interested in getting him out of the water because they felt threatened. 2. Otter eating urchins. Sea otters, unlike other marine mammals, do not have an insulating fat coat. Instead, they stay warm by using their fur and fast metabolism. They consume more than 1/4 of their body weight per day. Another sea urchin perishes. Sea otters enjoy eating sea urchins, which are voracious kelp grazers. Sea otters keep kelp forests healthy by controlling urchin numbers. Many other species, including humans, rely on kelp forests for shelter, food, and defense. Thank you so much, otters. Otters go insane when they have a chance to consume a few massive spiky urchins. The otters just crush the urchin's bottom until it collapses, revealing the scrumptious urchin insides. When you encounter a sea otter, it's typically because it's eating or digesting something like urchins. That's great news for certain kelp beds. Without otters to keep urchin populations in check, the spiky shellfish can consume the beds, leaving bleak seascapes in their wake. Sea otters were so sought after for their fur 50 years ago that they vanished from the Canadian coast. However, they have recovered and are now vying with humans for the region's shellfish, as seen in this video. Another otter munches on a delectable sea urchin while it floats on its back. I just love those whiskers on this little guy. 1. Otter eating abalone. The man recording this video hoped that the water would have been calmer, but he still enjoyed filming this otter while it was out enjoying an abalone shell as big, if not bigger than his head. The abalone is a gastropod mollusk that is known not just for its similarity to the human ear, earning it the moniker ear shell, but also for being the most valuable shellfish in the world, which otters are aware of because they enjoy eating them so much, as this otter in the video demonstrates. Is that another otter napping in the water right next to the otter eating? Here's another otter devouring a tasty abalone. The otter floats on his back like an experienced synchronized swimmer and stuffs his face, while another otter next to him tries to get a piece of the pie. The man filming this video has been watching a new female otter in Monterey, California. She is not tagged and her nose is not scarred, but she can be identified by a large patch of red algae that is growing on the back of her head. In this video, the man saw her eat an abalone, a kelp crab, and some urchins. And then she repeated the food choices in the exact same order. You can see the red patch on her head at the end of the video. Otters are incredible hunters and they're awesome to look at, especially when they lay on their backs in the water to eat. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video,